WTOL 11 breaking news now.
I want the people of Toledo to know that we are not walking away from this case. Our detectives and officers are working it. We will continue to follow every lead and use every resource available to identify those responsible.
Our heart is broken, and it will take time to work through what happened and to seek to make sure it doesn't happen again.
We continue to track breaking news right now. Toledo city leaders just gave an update on the mass shooting in the Old West End on Saturday. Here is what we learned. Police have not made any arrests. The chief says he believes detectives are closing in on 2 black men between the ages of 18 and 24. 9 of the 12 victims who were shot this weekend are out of the hospital, and of course, police are still investigating. A news conference this morning lasted for about 45 minutes. We heard from the police chief, the mayor, city council, and a representative from the Old West End where that shooting happened over the weekend. We have live team coverage right now from downtown Toledo. Tim Miller will tell us what the mayor has to say about the responsibility of parents in situations like this. But we start first with Megan Hartnett. Megan, you've got more on where police stand in finding these 2 shooters.
Melissa, Toledo Police gave us a little more insight about what led up to the shooting on Saturday. Toledo Police Chief Mike Trenley says that there was a dispute between 2 rival groups that escalated to gunfire. Police Chief Mike Trenley says that there were 2 firearms involved and an attempted backpack search that happened before the firing started. Trenley says TPD was able to recover one of those guns from a search that was done at a house in central Toledo yesterday. The chief says the department is looking for 2 men between the ages of 18 and 24 that they believe were involved in the incident. He says one person was brought to the station for questioning but later released. He says there are multiple leads that they are following. When reflecting on the police's response, Trenley says there were 17 law enforcement officers patrolling the festival before the shooting and up to 30 officers in the district, and there was 2 mobile cameras there. He says at this time there are no concerns about retaliation and work is happening around the clock to get answers.
No agency handles an event like this alone. The cooperation and support we have received have allowed us to bring every available resource to the investigation. I know many people have questions, and understandably so. People want answers. They want to know who is responsible and why this happened. We want those answers.
As for the 12 victims, Chief Trenley says that he believes 3 of them were involved with the dispute. He says that 9 people have been released from the hospital, and the other 3 who are still in the hospital are expected to recover. Reporting in downtown Toledo, Megan Hartnett, WTOL 11.
Toledo city leaders, some who were at the festival, also talked at the news conference about the community's need to step up.
Gun violence does not just affect those that are shot or those that are shooting. They affect those families. They affect the whole community. So I challenge the community not to only focus on healing from this tragedy, but think of ways we can include our youth.
Toledo's mayor said this act of violence will not define our city. He talked about the responsibility of parents in preventing these shootings from happening in the first place. Tim Miller is also live from One Government Center with that part of the story. Tim?
And Melissa, one of the most eye-opening moments in this press conference here today was when the mayor announced, Mayor Wade Kapsakavich announced that they want to resume the Old West End Festival even after what happened back on Saturday night with all of those people getting hurt. The mayor said Toledo's heart is hurting and said it was a miracle that no lives were lost, even though 12 people were injured. The mayor said resuming the Old West End Festival in late summer or early September would send a powerful message. City Councilman Nick Comives, who lives in the Old West End and was there when this all happened, told me he is on board with that, with resuming the festival, but said they will have to look at what safety measures need to be implemented. Now back to Mayor Kapsakavich. He said young people have to be accountable for their actions, but parents too have to step up when there's violence like this.
There is a role for parents, And I do think part of the conversation that has taken place is a need for more accountability from parents. And I believe among the responses you could see coming from City Hall could be attempts to strengthen parental accountability for events that happen in our community.
Mayor Kapsakevich was also asked about upcoming public events. He said this weekend's Watershed Weekend will go on as normal. It is an event to celebrate the midway points of the creation of the Riverwalk along both sides of the Maumee River, but the mayor did say that there will be an increase or stronger safety protocols. The mayor also said coming out of this, the national attention from this unfortunate incident will prove Toledo a resilient, tough, and gritty city. Reporting live from One Government Center downtown, Tim Miller, WTOL 11.
As Toledo continues to figure out how to address ongoing gun violence, a former police officer and public safety agent says the solution requires more than just law enforcement. I talked with Earl Mack on Monday about what he believes could make a difference. Mack said he would like to see more police surveillance cameras because they can help deter crime and assist in investigations. But in the 2026 budget, Toledo Police lost funding for ShotSpotter, which is technology that detects gunfire, and reduce the next recruit class from 25 officers down to 20. Mack also says limited resources make it impossible for TPD to have officers everywhere they're needed. But he says the most important change starts at home, with parents taking a more active role in guiding and supervising their children.
Involving shootings, involving people being hurt, fights. Young kids are having fight parties now and all kinds of things. And again, my issue is, my question is, where is the parents? What happened to parenting? And the other thing with that, you need to let these police officers do their job.
Mack believes Toledo needs to start holding parents accountable for their children's conduct. That was discussed briefly at the news conference today. We're also hearing from U.S. Representative for Ohio, Marcy Kaptur, who talked about the shooting on the House floor yesterday. Quote, on Saturday, my beloved hometown of Toledo, Ohio, suffered tragic and senseless gun violence in our storied Old West End community. I thank all of my colleagues who joined us this evening on the House floor for a moment of silence to help lift up all impacted in our Toledo and Northwest Ohio communities. If you were at the festival, live nearby, or were affected by what happened, we want to hear from you. You can text OWE to 419-248-1100 right now to get information sent to your phone. And please don't forget, if you have information or video that can help investigators, you should first give that information over to Toledo Police or Crime Stoppers. As the search continues today for the shooters, safety for future events remains at the top of mind, and Tim Miller just briefly touched on that. Today, we're also hearing from the chief of the White House Police Department ahead of one of our area's biggest festivals. The Cherry Fest kicks off on Thursday evening. The chief says there will be a significant law enforcement presence throughout the event, with officers patrolling festival grounds, surrounding neighborhoods, parking areas, and other high traffic areas. Metro Parks Toledo leaders are also promising their most extensive security plan for this week's Watershed Weekend. The 4-day festival at Glass City Metro Park, as Tim mentioned, kicks off Thursday with activities still planned for both sides of the Maumee River, including a free music event called Toledo. Organizers tell us they had already planned to amp up security for this year's Techno Music Festival, including bag checks, metal detector wands, and a single secure entrance point.
If you would have asked me this question 1 week ago, I would have told you we're possibly over-prepared. Now it seems quite appropriate, and then we've still added a little bit more on top of that. So this is an all-hands-on-deck thing.
Toledo is now an 18 and over event after the Old West End shooting. There will still be activities for families and children accompanied by adults. Be sure to stay with WTOL 11 on air and online for updates on this developing story. You can find extended stories and interviews right now on WTOL.com, and the full news conference from this morning streaming on WTOL 11 Plus. Download on your TV, watch for free.